There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We judge it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Qualified people who willing to serve. Blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The brothers are giving us here the promise of them. The work of my life without fear.
A lyrical healthy
Master.
Clay Paris who make on you again Sktv venue. Say my journey, Tina can ask my yamu. And he's a no money, the more I know. And he love our money, the more I know.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I forget it now ya to money. That's the TV, and I forget it now. Cause you walk on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must hold by the lofa and grand bazaar.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Qualified people who willing to serve. The blessing our time and our efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving are real and I promise my best. The work with my life without fear. From Grandfather Nima to Lufa, from Riverside, River G to Chile, from Penku, Bombay, Cape Mount, Montserrat, Sano to Backbulu, from Maryland, Bonkan to the Mikey B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa.
This is right after presenting their petition to the Minister of Health, Dr. Louis Poto, and the Minister has showed them that she's going to work with the hospital management to address their concern in a sooner possible time. But currently the Minister is in a meeting with the hospital management to see how they can address these concerns that will be raised by the healthcare workers. So the name is George Cooper. We are live here at the ELWA hospital where the healthcare workers are staging a go-slow action against the hospital management. They talk about their COVID-19 money, NASCOR benefits, retroactive salary, low salary payment, lack of buses to transport healthcare workers, lack of ambulance to the hospital, and other concerns that were raised. So this is the reason why they are outside, because they visited NASCOR and they were being told by NASCOR that they don't have money in NASCOR account. That's why the hospital cutting NASCOR benefit from their salaries. They say some of them are making 10,000.
And so there we go. Some of the songs that we sung, or we sing, or we go about. Some of these songs are also coming out now. That they don't want to be in the church, but these songs will also be talk about, or people will sing these songs also outside of the church, or what you may call. So again, folks, a pleasant good evening and welcome to the Tuesday edition of the SKTV show, the 7th of October. You know, when you play number 7, those of you who know footballers, you know, when we talk about CR7 and this and that, all the kind of thing, right? So number 7, check for number 7 and tell me the power of number 7. So today is the 7th of October, and the 10th month, though, this month is the 10th month. We have a few more days to go in the year 2025. Let me tell those of you who still having hope into maybe you have your resolutions, or you have so many things to talk about, maybe things affecting you spiritually. Don't go. If there are other spiritual things that want to affect or that are affecting you, don't you got to be careful as to which kind of spiritual man to go to. But again, let's try to show people. We'll also talk about social, but I know that the social news we will talk about today will also end when the chairman is here, the social chairman is here, then that social news will end, you know. But it's indeed interesting. It is indeed interesting. But let's share the show. Today is Tuesday, the 7th of October. In fact, that means a happy 20th anniversary to RCR, to FM, Ria TV, Sport FM, and so forth. Thanks to Honorable Musa Hassan Bedete for this great dream. You know, some of you, you have busting of dreams. You know, you have dreams all in your head, but because you are confused, you don't even know how to go about with these dreams. All you see is politics. That's why a dream and one year come to reality. But again, it's good that you look, don't think about working for people. Oh yes. Think about how to make job available for people. You know, let me tell some of us, those of us who every day we carry ourselves for school. The men out there who get money, who don't even want to even go to school, you work for him. They see how the whole life look enough fair. Someone making millions of dollars from his foot, just from his foot. Oh God, that's how they show people. Yes, and that's the fact. People are making millions of dollars from their foot. When they drop from kicking something, some kind of object, you just run to the object, you kick, you score, you make millions of dollars. So you see, so life, it is indeed interesting. You can't predict. Well, most of us here who want to be or who are so educated, they want to confirm that when government, when the government can host us, then we end up with what? Power cost, uncle cost. But anyway, let's move, man. That's the show. So the social news today, we will tell you, if I will talk about some kind of social news that are already in court, and hopefully that news will come out. But we'll tell you what are they happening today. We will be looking at the deep politics, the way we're doing politics, or the way we do politics, as to whether we are making progress when it comes to reconciliation, when it comes to peace, when it comes to any other thing that you think about, or we are still dividing, even though people were celebrating our list. Thank God that we are 50%. You know, people were celebrating 50-50. But again, that's good, people. So that's the show. Let me recognize a few of you, our brothers and sisters who are following this broadcast on this Tuesday. Mom will be here, Brother Ali will be here, and Mr. Karen will join us very soon in a jiffy. But as at old Dawson, let me say good evening to you. Jeremiah Kola, my dear good friend and brother Hassan Okante. You know, yesterday you were giving us update about I think he said that there was some road problem somewhere in Sando. But thank you for that update. James David, thank you so much for always following the SKTV show. And Ayesha Robert Jacqueline, my good friend and brother, thank you. And Lawrence Appleton, can you imagine? That life is indeed interesting. That's why you don't know what will happen tomorrow. That's why you always, you always have to be that good person, no matter. But this is my good friend and brother. If just imagine we live in the same community for years. Yeah, and so Lawrence, I'm very proud of you, and thank you for always following this show. And Maurice Duke, the chairman. Look, chairman is not easy when it comes to politics. Now we are measuring how, people are not Oh God. Look, when nothing to talk about anymore, and that what happened. Yeah. So now we are measuring people now who drop out their friend. Who did I said it. I said that Honorable Musa Hassan Benete will bring serious problem into politics. Some of you were taking it for a joke. Now you after you finish measuring yourself, who shot, who tore, who this, who that, you'll go back to the real issue. But we'll come to all of these things. Let me see, let me share the show. I will do yeah. People, let's share the show. You please help us share the show. Those of you who just joining, let's share. Today is Tuesday from our end year, and from matter of fact, today is the 7th of October. So while we do the sharing of the show, let me read this news from the social point of view. So they say that news having to do with a clergyman who was allegedly involved with some social activities with someone else's wife or with someone's wife, and so on. And according to the information that the wife is pregnant in the act, while the as he was. Don't call me to who call him. People, let me read. So Pastor Jenkins Johnson of the Mo Chincha Ministry Church in GSA Road or GSA Rock Hill community has been dragged to the Monrovia City Court for alleged kidnapping and impregnating Musu Kuya, a member of the church. Amen. I wonder for the social chairman to be here before we talk about that social very easy. But I know Thursday we'll talk about that or this news. Then Friday also will continue. In fact, the news is big, so it will continue until the whole weekend. Yes. So that people, I beg you, help me do the sharing of the show. So Pastor Johnson's arrest, according to our judicial reporter, was as a result of a complaint filed to the court by Marco Kuya, the husband of pregnant woman, or pregnant Musu Kuya, of the pregnant woman, Musu Kuya. Kuya claimed that his wife fell ill a year ago following their marriage. Yeah, I know though. So Kuya claimed that his wife fell ill a year ago following their marriage, but recommended her pastor could heal her. Okay. Hey, look, Chairman of the Social News is hot. The man are going in the news. What? So they recommended that this man of God can help to heal. So if you don't get spiritual healing, you will get physical healing. That's the life. Look, Chairman, I made you on the show. So that move people, actually, sometimes we got to do these things to get ourselves stress-free, because this country now, the way politics is going, is stressful. So that move, he explained that his wife fell, he explained that his wife left their Burrville residence with his 14 years old daughter or child and moved to the church on the pretense of rebuilding or theft, but without his consent, after he accused her of being in relationship with her pastor. Oh yes, the social news and the chairman, yeah. What? No, interesting, chairman. So that move people. So they said Johnson's account to the court led to magistrate. Okay, yeah. To magistrate Ben Bacchus arrest order for Pastor Jenkins Johnson and was charged for what? He was charged for what? For kidnapping and criminal conspiracy. So I may charge it there. He said, man was charged. Our judiciary also said that Johnson offenses also compelled Magistrate Bacco to forward the clergyman case to criminal court A due to lack of jurisdiction. That means the Monrovia City could not get power over the one now because it's criminal case. So they got to take it straight to criminal court A. So that's the social news, for us. So our own daddy, daddy. Oh God. I have some of the things I will play later on, but daddy has been accused of no, the chairman, you have to come and rescue me from it. But daddy has been accused of impregnating someone else's wife. Before we transition into politics or maybe other discussion, it's serious. We have our wives so on back to back here and there, right? Who don't easily give us these praises. Let me free go, and then because maybe I'm saying this, but most of our women now and then they don't even give us these praises, but they give the praises to the men of God. Now go back to 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1, all the way to either 5. Then you understand what the Bible say about a clergyman, about a person who want to be a spiritual person, or the person who want to be this and who want to be that. So the Bible says it's good. It's good for anybody. I will make by myself. I can be pastor. You don't know. I can change. I change good. I think all my clothes, everything, I put everything on the follow God. I'm deciding now if I want to follow you. So that book or Timothy that we're talking about say it's good for people who have that desire of serving God to do so. That means that means you are putting aside the pleasure world, the thing of the world, that what you are putting aside, you want to serve God. So it's good. No. One thing I like about that passage, it don't have nothing to do with people, the person, they were choosing by God. No. Anybody, go read it. It's there. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 to 5, you will see. It's there. Go and read it. Now they come back. They talk about so many things there. That person who want to be that reverend, pastor, bishop, and so forth, he should be that person of good moral. Someone who have one wife. Someone who know how to talk to people. Someone who know how to convince people. Someone who know how to settle issues. God is there. Someone who is not greedy. But most of our clergy, man, because even if you have more than 4 or 5 cars, that don't prove that you are greedy. It just shows. You don't have to tell people that you are greedy for things. So you don't have to be greedy. No, that thing is high. No, some of you don't be lying on God. Okay, yeah, let me. Sorry, I answer you. Oh, Monk. Yeah, Monk got my because there's also just topic is that easy. I think you got to come quickly, my dear brother Monk. So Monk is here. Monk will chip in on the social issue. But quickly before Monk come on, right? It is indeed interesting. Our people will run to the religious people, to the religious people in the name of looking for solution for their problems, looking for way forward for their problem, looking for ways so that their problem can be solved, even whether it's physical or it's spiritual. For these people, they will use these situations and they abuse our people. When you try to say, oh, you're coming down too hard on the people. Maybe, the Bible says, judge not so you can't be judged. I don't know why they can be taking all these scripture from. Judge not so you can't be judged. Oh, no one is perfect. Everybody, we are all sinners. This and that. All the kind of thing. If you say no one, look, the lady that Jesus Christ was talking about, or in fact, that even Jesus Christ even used as an example in the adultery and so forth. Well, was she preaching the word of God? No, she was not preaching the word of God. So that's the difference. That's the difference between you as a clergyman who believe that you are 100% connected to God, for you to use God and abuse other people or to abuse people is terrible. But anyway, Mark, good evening, my dear brother. And I thank God that you're here on the social aspect of our day.
Yeah, you put me on the spot on my operation. You told the people that you told the audience that Monk is going to be, and you must have never had any proof
Ah,
that when I
sorry.
hold my out, like, but then maybe just put me in the spot, so I got to show up. Even though I've been busy, I'm not following a lot of news. I've been following a few events happening over the past 48 hours. The reaction, the Spoon TV interview with the political leader of the Alternative National Congress, or partially part of the CPP, and a whole lot of stuff. But yeah, I saw that. I mean, I've been listening to the show for the past 5 minutes in the back, but that's just where we are. I will stay most of my time today in listening only more because I'm a little bit backward on the trending events happening in the country. But you said it right. For our clergymen, the new charismatic Christian movement, I think they have abused the space to a certain extent, and our women are mostly vulnerable. They are emotional. You know, most of the things happening in the churches, men don't fall for this thing because we are built differently than women. Whether they selling an oil, some of them selling merchandise now in the church, or holy oil, the bottle of different sizes for different blessings. And these things, men don't fall for this stuff. I always said, if a woman, maybe it might come across as being offensive, you think with your heart. Men think with their brain. We are not emotional. We are logical. And you go to most of the churches, even when it comes to the contribution and everything, they are mostly women. I would say 75 to 80% of the time, they are mostly women. That's why they are always falling victims, because they don't look at these people, they don't vet them for who they are. They just come with a whole mindset. And like you said, when you are a clergyman, even though you preach the word of God, but people, God, you got to come with certain discipline. You got to come with certain gifts. You cannot be some wayward man, you want to carry on deliverance. No. You cannot be a shepherd in the church and your own house is not in order. You're a man of God, you're single, you ain't even married yet. Can you imagine that? And you're supposed to be talking into marital affair or being a counselor. How that work? Your life is not even there yet. Just because most of these men, they never went to theological seminary. There's no formal training. Everybody just wake up and be like, God called her. Yeah, there are certain people you can say God called and you can see their life. You know what their life is all about. I'm not here to bash on the men of God. But the reality is the reality. Most of you, if we come out with standard, if we standard that the process, even though you don't want to regulate people when it comes to spirituality, but when you abuse the system, then maybe people must take certain drastic action, like what we saw in Rwanda, that certain churches and mosques were closed down. Go and join other churches where people got structure in place and be part of that. You can be an assistant pastor. We don't need to have churches all over the corner, and the vast majority of you guys, you can't even meet the bare minimum of being a clergyman. And it's so sad, but that's where we find ourselves. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a president one of these days that will say, you know what, enough is enough. I want certain structure in place. I don't want to get involved in politics and the church or religion, but there should be certain structure, because you don't run society randomly. And at a certain point in time, people got to put certain checkpoint, erect certain checkpoint in place.
And Mark, actually, I think you just say everything 100%, because there are so many churches. Can you imagine, Mark? One community have more than 4 or 5 churches, some are 10 or 15 churches, just because nobody want to go along. No, oh yeah. I don't understand which type of God that they serve. That was something I can be asking. So I want to know which type of God the other church is serving, and which type of God the other church is serving. Let me frank. And these are fat monk. You can have maybe a little community with 10 to 15 churches. And Sunday morning, they have a lot of noise. When you talk, they say, oh yeah, it's about religious issue. No. Yeah. The God of Himself, the God said, He even less silent. God even that too my noise.
Yeah, you doing 40-day drive fast. You come from where you come from. You're a hustler. You want to get a little rest, and you know sleep is very important at a certain point in time, because as a regular hustler, you say your late prayer in the morning. You pray to God to open doors for you. You go your hustle. You put in your physical hours, your work, your energy. You come home. You want to rest, and some little backyard church behind you, they having 40-day fasting prayer, 11 o'clock to 12 midnight. They're screaming until 3 a.m. in the morning, and then your whole night is messed up. That's why when you come to the advanced world, right, Mabel, they don't put churches in residential area. They got zoning law. You know, I tell people all the time, you got to copy people who did better in life. You got to learn from them. These things are not magic, right? The reason being, whether it's about business area, right, whether it's about strip mall and mini mall, right, whether it's about industrial area, whether it's about churches, these people build their country in a way that they got zoning law. You know, you cannot put a church in the middle of a residential area. You got like 15 houses in the middle of those houses. You got 2 or 3 churches. Tell me, it cannot be. You got to put the churches maybe on the outskirts. But like I said, you don't have the structure in place, so this thing won't work. Anybody can just wake up and just open the church, whether it's in the living room, whether it's an empty building. Some of them will be like this makeshift structure, put tarpaulin, and it's a church. I mean, like I said, I don't want to bash religious people, but at a certain point in time, when you over abuse the system, then somebody got to come in and say, you know what, enough is enough. So maybe we'll keep looking to see if that will happen, but that's just why it is. You cannot shy away from the reality. The truth is the truth.
And these news that are coming out are news that we know about. So Mo, just imagine there's so many abuses, so many things that may happen behind the scene that some people they just decide that it's okay for us, for me, I will not talk about these things because I don't know, maybe they made a God, they say, and the prophet do your prophet, all kinds of things that want they will manipulate the mind of the people. Don't touch a prophet before you do your prophet no harm. But the same prophet that they say don't touch before you do no harm, the same prophet is harming people. And and people are going home. Young girls, young women are being abused. Because let me tell you, Mom, you said it to something. Most of our sisters who go to the viewer churches, the one story that came out where Sunday time come, the people they do all kinds of things and that story died. But Mom, most of the people that are being abused are women. And you're right, especially young women.
No, the reason being, you need to understand, in Africa, the economic anxiety is there. That's one thing. But the reason I say women, because they are the one that put themselves in a position to be abused. And they got people these days that don't even want to read the Bible for themselves. The Bible or I don't know about any other religious text. It was written in Asian languages, but then they were translated to English, right? You can read for yourself. You can question things. You can ask questions. Look, there are men of God out there that I know I can give testimony of. They are living a water life. You can look at them and say, you know what? There is something that separates this man from regular people. I know he's a man of God. I'm not saying he's perfect, but you can see that kind of a distinction. But my brother, you don't need spirituality to look at reality. You can just see certain men and you know that they are nothing but scam. Their lifestyle, the way how they operate, the way how they do things, the way how they interpret the scripture, you can know that they are not real people. But for women, most of the time, they won't see these things. Take, for example, Melbourne. You are a woman of God and you say you want to be a Christian, you go into church. And the only reason you are going to church, you are not even focusing on salvation or making your own life better. Or you are interested in signs and wonder. You want marry, you want man. Come on. You think God operates in such a manner? God is not a transactional God. He does things on his own time and will. So if you are only going to the church just because you want something in return, then people will abuse you. Because even if you are praying, you can pray for the next 1,000 years. If the motive and the objective of your prayers are wrong, God won't answer your prayer. And at the end of the day, you will want a forceful result. That's where these so-called fake men of God will come and abuse you. That's the reality. And I will say again, maybe the whole ministerial sphere has been polluted, but equally so, there are men of God out there that are doing the right thing. The only difference is they are very small in number, so that the bad ones are literally oversaturated the whole space. So people will usually put them in a blanket assessment and be like, oh, men of God. No, they got people out there. They got real, genuine men of God that will tell you what it is. They won't sugarcoat it. They will say it as it is. Even if they got smaller churches with not too many members, but they will believe in saying the truth and they will say the truth. But the ones that believe that people are desperate out there, most especially women, trust me, they will milk you. They will take your resources. You will keep praying. You will have all the 40 days prayer because the servant yourself, you went to the ministry without the right intention. You went there to be transactional, and that's not how God operates. So that's it. That's how people get abused.
Well, my dear brother, we don't know as to how long we Africa, because I think this is only unique to other Africa, especially in West. I don't know whether it is only West Africa or maybe East and maybe other part of Africa, but I'm not seeing the kind of thing happening because, for example, you talk about some of the churches that are system, that people go there and they abide by this system. Even if you want to be evangelist, you want to be the person, you want to be usher, you want to be part of the church. Yes, there's a system there that you can be part of the church. But if you do, or maybe anything happen within the church, and they have their own way of disciplining you. Well, it's terrible for us that we will have so many churches, and most of these churches that you just talk about, those cosmetics churches or those preachings, those transactions, gospels that they do, that you have to pay for like for example, tissue. You got to buy tissue 500 and you carry it to your house, then what will happen? You have to do this, and if you do this one, then what will happen? All of these things and people, they are all transactional gospel, they are lie. God, you don't give God money for anything. Don't allow anybody to bring worship. These people that do this thing to you, they lie to you. Well, again, that the people like money is certain, because even some of the old churches today that are still around, they don't easily go down and then because they feel that the churches are cool. Some of them, what they will say, the church too cool, and not that no any kind of cool church. No, God say you talk with.
No, when they say cool church, meaning the messages that the pastor is spewing out there is not what they are interested in. They are looking for the overnight success, prosperity, gospel, getting men out of nowhere. Man, if you want to get married, if you don't put yourself in the right position, if you don't train yourself to be a better wife, you can pray all you want. God will not give you a good man, because God knows if He give you a good man, you're going to destroy that man, because you yourself, you're not a good wife. That's just why it is. So we hear them complaining, oh, the church too cold. No, because maybe that pastor talking about improving their lives, talking about salvation, thinking about evangelism. No, that's not the kind of a message they are interested in. They want the overnight, like I said, reward or incentive from God. That's why, because here in the Bible, if you study your Bible, it says seek ye first the kingdom of God, right? And His rational, and all other things are out of you, because the first reason you go to church is to seek God, right? You want to establish a relationship between you and the divine. That's why it's all about. And then the signs and wonder will come later. But now you are not interested in the salvation. You are not interested in evangelism. You are not interested in helping the poor or being your brother's keeper. All you want overnight result. And God does not operate. The last time I listened to this guy, Joshua Selman, he said there's no continent on the face of the earth that pray like Africa. But Africa still remains the poorest continent in the whole world, because we don't even know how to pray. Because even the disciples, when you read the Bible, when they were with Christ, at the end of the day, they asked Him, Lord, teach us how to pray. So it means even in prayer, there is a protocol, there are rules and regulations, there are laws that govern prayer. So just because you screaming all the place 40 days and 40 nights, my brother, myself, nothing will happen for you, because the intention alone is totally opposite.
But even in that prayer, or my brother, like you even stated, if you go back even into the Bible, you will read something about the Bible that talk about God let to even hear one thing over.
I don't know.
So I can be thinking as to who really bring this thing to us in Africa.
I know.
And just confuse us in the form. Yeah, but seriously, Mom, because your same Bible is telling you that God left today, for example, I come to God today and say, Father, I'm hungry. Then the next day or the next minute I come, Father, I'm hungry. But no, forget about that. But
and that's the essence of faith and gratitude, right? Sometimes you don't have to receive the physical blessing, but you got to be praying and thanking God for what you already have. I think we said it on the show one time. Look, you don't treat God like a slot machine, right? Or like an ATM machine. Sometimes you have faith, you pray, you believe in certain breakthrough or miracle to happen in your life, and you start thanking God for that in advance with the expectation that it will happen. So even though while you are praying for other things to come your way, you got to be appreciated for what you already have in your life. You got breath, you are healthy, maybe you get a job, you got a family. The littlest things, you got to give thanks and appreciation. Then in that way, God Himself will multiply. But the whole thing of always asking, no, I don't know.
I was complaining. We always complaining. And you're right. Yeah. There's no day that we ever tell God thank you. And you know, that was something we come here. We don't want to be educate our people on some of these things or more. Because if you can still recall when Paul and his people, when they were in prison, they were not asking God, say, Father God, please can release upon the person.
You will get prison here, right?
No.
Yeah, that is story of Paul and Silas. When they God,
they were celebrating.
Yeah, they were praying.
Oh God.
But anyway, that is the transition.
Yes, I have a video I want to play quickly, because our entire discussion today will be around the Zana comics and that of the government, because we've seen a lot of posts, insults, all kinds of things coming out. I don't know for what reason, Mark, but I think if you follow the social media, they are pairing of people now. I don't know height as to who tall or who is the taller person between the other person and the other person. One minister, deputy minister, sitting somewhere calling people doer, and so on, all of these kind of things. So I don't know quickly, but I'm searching for the video. But what say you with all of these things happening, Monk, about people height?
Well, that's what Liberian politics is all about. Like they got to say, they say, if you don't have anything to run on, you turn your opponent into something people might run from. I didn't know that the height man played a major role in politics. But if we're using height, then I think Joseph Boga shouldn't have been president because I believe he's shorter. I think Cummings got maybe 1 or 2 inches above Joseph Boga. We are seeing 4 or 5 different pictures where they are standing side by side. But that's just what they will give you. It's all about the distraction. They are not serious for business. And when I listened to the interview, one thing Cummings said about profound, he said, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but you can only blame your predecessor for so long. When it comes to governance, maybe the first 6 months, you can make the complaint all you want, but you own that particular job. You are the one carrying the responsibility. So you can bash you can blame That was the reason you were elected. The problem was they don't know. That's what he said. They don't know what they are doing. They don't understand what it takes to create jobs. And that's something they will never understand because they just don't know it. That was the one thing that I thought from the interview, even though he talked about how we change the way I do business, maybe the financing, certain constraints, but that was the crux of his argument. The reason we are struggling as a country because the previous administration and this present administration, they don't have the slightest clue as to what we need to transform the economy of Liberia. That was the message. That's what I took from that whole interview. So I listened to the info. I know that the deputy or information minister, I know that they call it Jeremiah Ling or how they call his name, or talking
Jerry, let me peer.
Yeah, Jerry Lemon, what they inherited. No, it's
And-
about
and-
the job done.
And that's my friend and brother. So you're taking money from your mom.
That's why you are pronouncing it in that form. Look, Mr. Cannon, by the way, good evening, Mr. Cannon, and welcome.
Yeah, thank you. How are you? How you doing? Among my man, I really enjoy you, man. I enjoy, your knowledge, whether it's religion, and your skill of analyzing things, is top notch. So I really appreciate it, and it's always a good thing to have you on the show. Even though our audience can miss you, I can miss you on the show sometimes. You bring a lot to the table on SKTV. Like, all of you bring different dynamics to the table when it comes to SKTV. When Steve is not there, it's never hot and spicy. When Monk is not there, it's never analytical and something, And Monk, Melbourne too. Melbourne brings his own, spice to the whole thing. So it's like everybody on SKTV brings some value and expertise on the show. So that's why when all of you are there together at the same time, it brings different feeling, different energy to the show. But I want to say thank you, Monk and Melbourne. Ali is not here today. I believe Steve is watching from distance. Yeah, she not make it, Right now, the man wish he could be here and say something. The man mouth itching right now, but the man is watching from distance. So the man is working. Yeah, but it's a good thing to be here. Like Mom was saying, I took a lot of things, from Mr. Cummings' interview. There was some missed opportunity for me, and somehow, some ways, this government people, they got to be nice to Mr. Cummings because Mr. Cummings was very nice to them. He gave them a lot of leeway. He actually gave them a pass in so many occasions on so many things. But again, politics is what it is. You can never get everything 100%. They man came there with a message, and the message was very clear. I think he was asked about the past. He said the past government did not perform well. Nothing changed. And with this government, nothing seems to be changing. He said he still has enough time. If they can't change it, he even offered the opportunity that he can even help, even provide some, genuine, approach as to how he can change things around. But again, he said he doesn't want to be, set up for failure. Just by saying, oh, what, just let's get the man something to do so we can, tell the people that the man, been doing X, Y, and Z, and he's a total failure. So for some, Mr. Comey did well for himself to reintroduce himself. We don't know how far and how long it will take, or he will go, he will go with it. But overall, this Nyamabaga government are getting agitated simply because they are not doing good things, and their motive, their modus operandi is to, bully and attack anybody who dare to mention their failure. And I think Mr. Comey knew exactly what he was getting into. But it's good for him politically. This government, they have the tendency to, attack people, especially their political opponents, they like to intimidate and bully people. And for Mr. Cummings being a politician, it's never a good thing for you to, be missing in transition. Your name is not mentioned. You're not doing anything or doing anything. They will take you for granted. A lot of people will even write you off. But the fact that Mr. Cummings is coming now back, in the spotlight, being, discussed, being talked about, it's good. It's a good thing. Well, I believe he would have done a lot of damages to this government if he had taken advantage of all the opportunity that were provided to him. But it is what it is. Mr. Cummings came to that platform with a particular objective, and I think in his mind and his supporters' mind that was achieved. So you cannot move more than the bereaved. If they are happy with their position and the presentation of Mr. Cummings, nobody should actually have problem with that. But for the government, their action is expected. Well, the funny thing among and Maybon is my friend Jeremy Pierre, who actually was funny. I didn't listen to the entire expose, but what I listened to, I think it was a fraction of what he said. But what I was looking at, you were saying the pape, even scared to call Mr. Cummings' name for the fear of being attacked, by the people. Where they still never spare him, they still got him all over the place, making my friend to look like some kind of funny man all over the place. Yeah, I think that was not fair to my boy, because my boy didn't call Cummings' name, he said the pape. I don't know. You speaking with all the gray hair all over the place. You calling Mr. Cummings pape. Mr. Cummings who can run 10, 15 miles. You calling the man pape. Maybe the man were talking about Joseph Wakai, but you forget say it was Cummings. But Mr. Cummings is not that pape. Mr. Cummings very energetic and strong. I don't know about presidency, but I know Mr. Cummings is very energetic and strong. So Mr. Cummings is not pape.
Okay, good, because we'll ask you, thank God a year, at least maybe you will be able to give a more clue when it comes to the Ministry of Information, because the way they are proceeding now, there are more attention being given to them as to the way they are proceeding, the kind of more insults coming from that end and so forth, especially when it's not come from the if it's not the deputy minister, then it is the minister alleged, though, according to some of the Facebook post accusations and so forth. Well, I want us to just listen to the video quickly, Mr. Connor. Then we'll go to the questions of the day with the entire Zana Cummings, maybe statement and so forth, and what spark up out of the kind of saying coming from the government having fear or not. But we'll go to that. Let me just play the video quick so we can get something.
I've never seen any group of Liberian people, any group of people who can lie like tomorrow not there. The Liberians. The Liberian man will take one stigma and put it on you. Run with it. Make the world believe that this is who you are. When he knows very well he's lying on you, but it will make it sound like it is true. I saw one video this morning that just brings me back to why I'm so technical. When you bring your problem to me, y'all know, just so you that can bring problem to me, y'all know the question I can ask you. And if your case didn't make sense, I don't get involved with it, because most of you can lie. You can lie the bitterness out of Jurubo. Lie. Just use somebody near, just attach somebody to one, and you know that lie. But you say, oh, that politics. I saw the video this morning, I really felt bad. Let's watch the video. Yes, the video.
She feel blasted me, and now she can ask me, that you don't open nation? I said, look at the one. That you don't want to say the men are gay? Oh, right now, in the poor restaurant, the girl want me for me. I was so shit, because I was looking around the place, I was so crowded, foreign guests all over the place. Now you don't want to say the men are gay? You call the men gay? And that gay thing, I invented it and I stuck it on Ellis Kuman, and it stuck. Shit.
Yeah, so Mr. Connor, there we go. Mr. Cummings also talked about this, that moving forward, you will not relent, or in fact, you will not take any of these things anymore for anybody. Even though we will play that video more and more as we go along. But Mr. Connor, what's sparked all of these debates coming from the government angle, where they are throwing jabs and talk back to back before more coming with maybe with your own analysis on of the happening.
Um, Actually, for me, this idea or this question of Mr. Cummings' this response to Mr. The late Mamadi Jakite on the question of his stand on gay's rights. It was not even about Mr. Cummings himself being gay, but they lie, they spin it, and like that guy who spoke prior to the video of Ober, that guy was 100% right. In Liberia, we have said this on this platform before. Liberians are the major consumer, producer and consumer of fake news in the world, which is very unfortunate. So I'm not going to actually dwell on this idea or this conversation that has to do with Mr. Cummings' position. He has made it clear. He even made it clear one time on the same Sktv. When I asked him, he said, Siku, all of those people that are saying X, Y, and Z about me, if I was not married, I would have, asked them to bring their wives or maybe daughter. Then let the daughter go tell them whether I'm gay or not. But Mr. Cummings should not even focus on that himself because he has made it very clear. But to debunk it, that time passed them already because they allow it to, you know, they try to sweep it on a carpet. And I remember one time when Mr. Cummings' first or second appearances on our platform, when that question was asked, some of my good friends in the ANC, they even did a special show to insult me. Why I even have to ask that question, I have to ask Mr. Cummings to clarify or to clear his name or to say something publicly about it. So some of the ANC people attacked me, they insulted me, did a special show. We've been friends since then, but I told them that was the wrong approach. All you need to do, you got to make the case, you got to refute, debunk, and clarify the myth being perpetuated against Mr. Cummings. But you don't sweep it on the carpet because it's not going to go away. But if you deal with it forcefully, it will die down because nobody's going to worry about it anymore. It will be like no news because you already clarify and make your position clear. But again, Mabon, moving forward, Liberian people should know that in as much as we believe many Liberians get involved with this lying and deception, but there's nobody, no group of people, no political party in the history of Liberia that live and traffic in lies and deception like the Unity Party. That's their own modus operandi. That's how they operate. And Joseph Barker himself is the cheerleader. He's not honest. Joseph Barker will be telling you something, but it means something else. So similarly, everybody in Joseph Barker government must be a liar before you can be respected. Or even more, you must stoop to their level, to actually let go your principle and integrity before you can be considered. Or you have to join the praise singing group in order for you to be considered, as part of them. Imagine when my brother and friend that I'm saying this not because he's a minister. He himself said it clearly that if you ask those who are critical of the government, one of them who is my friend and brother that talk to me or that we talk all the time, it's Sekou Kena from the Sktv. And he's not lying. We're friends. We know each other. We've been, knowing each other for a while. But when Jeremy Pierre was given the position as Minister of Information, one thing that a lot of people admire of him and that he's losing right now is the level of integrity and tolerance, and also that sense of honesty and respect. I didn't know him to be this kind of person. I know him to be professional. But the key for him to have reduced himself to bury his level of professionalism, to go to the level of the Unity Party, way of doing things, that is surprising to me. He's not supposed to be showing any anger or discontent for somebody criticizing the government. No. If you think whatever the person is saying is not true, all you need to do is to come and set the record straight, speak to the truth and present the facts. But showing anger is a sign of defeat, a sign of you admitting that you are not doing well. The person who is always angry when they are accused, for most of the time they are somehow, or one way or the other, guilty. Because why? If I'm not guilty of something you say, I'm not going to be angry. I will take my time to explain to the people as to what the facts are, so they can get the other side of the story. They can be able to have at least two sides of the stories, so they can actually, make their own judgment. But to be angry to the level where you want to disrespect other people, it means that you are losing it. And I believe Jeremy Pierre will regret whatever he did or how he did it by going against Mr. Cummings or showing anger. That's not the best way. I hope he will learn from this. I hope he will regret and somehow calibrate, and come out, in a more professional way in the future. But this way is not the way. It's not the best way forward.
Thank you, Mr. Kane. What say you? Well, Alexander Cummings, even though at the end he said that he support the government, in fact, he want the government to succeed rather, that at least so that the Liberian people's lives can get better, everything maybe will be good. But again, at the end, the government is sending, I don't know, their team members or whosoever to attack.
Yeah,
What say you?
That's the rescue team. Now they got to play defense. In politics, every time you are playing defense, it means you are the loser. You got to be preemptive in politics. For me, I got a different view. That's why I say I can never become a politician. If I become a politician, either someone will kill me easily, because there are certain things I won't stand for. I know I don't have the stomach for it, and I won't do it. I won't compromise on certain principles. But that's just why it is. People must protect their job. Imagine this man is an information minister, so he's not interested in information. He's interested in protecting the job. You got to play that sycophancy role, because everything Mr. Cummings said was the truth. You cannot allow your opponent to define you. I mean, thank God he landed, even though he's talking almost 2 election cycles. The one thing I keep saying on the show, I think all the things that Mr. Cummings said, we discussed them on Sktv, whether it's about pay, about civil servant, creating jobs. I didn't get anything new except for that point that he made. But they said better late than never. I don't know. Because in politics, Melbourne, politics is a nasty sport. They are not going to change the rules of the game just to accommodate you. You got to be someone who's a heavy puncher. So every time I come on the show, the Cummings of the world, the Musa Belete, the Tier 1 Gonglo, the Simon Fremont, this game you decided to put your hand into, be ready to go all in, because bullies, they hit soft target. When you are soft, you make yourself a punching bag. That's why I say, even in politics, when you are wrong, you don't even apologize for being wrong, because apology in politics is seen as weakness. When you want to be a leader, there are certain characteristics you must project, because it's not about logic. It's all about the public perception, how people are going to interpret things. The last time maybe I gave an example. I said, the whole gasoline storage thing. Unity Party plan is to paint Musa Belete like an economic criminal, that he's the one stealing from the Liberian people. Musa Belete's job is saying, oh, I'm creating employment. Matter of fact, I'm trying to expand the private sector. Matter of fact, I'm trying to contribute to the society in a positive way. The question is not about the message. The question is how the public is going to interpret the message. When the public is on one side, my brother, you can explain all you want, you are a loser. That's why in politics, like I said, it's all about projecting strength. Mr. Cummings, you cannot control the weather or the wind, but you can adjust your sail. You cannot allow these folks to keep defining you. They cannot be the one questioning the narrative or trying to set the platform for the argument. Because if you cannot define yourself, trust me, they will do it again. They are not going to stop. The question is, what are you going to do differently to counter the argument? Because anytime you are clean, you keep playing defense, even when you are right. In politics, the average voter will see it as being the loser. And the one thing I know, Mabel, whenever you watch presidential campaigns, when you observe the two candidates, when you see someone making the campaign or personal attack against someone, it means they don't have an idea. Because we'll be discussing the issue, how to create jobs, why more Liberians go to bed hungry, why we got all the resources we cannot, and at the same thing, Comey was saying, why we got resources, but we are one of the poorest countries in the world, because they cannot argue on that subject matter. So they were making about a height, how he come from Atlanta, how he's a gay, is all a form of distraction. Because if we talk about the right candidate, if we talk about qualification, if we talk about resume, if we talk about people who can show a track record of success in their life, they cannot go anywhere with that argument. So that one thing you can know, the real loser in politics, just listen to the conversation and the exchange of ideas. The moment one person decides to attack another person's personality, just know that they're not in there for the logic. They are there to carry on the small campaign. They are the losers.
And let's go back to what you were saying, Mark, because even though if you go back to some of the things that you were saying, you also understand that he said that the system in Liberia allows corruption. The system allows people to steal. To fight corruption, we need to change the system. How's that going to work, Mark? Who are you going to change? Who are those people that you're going to bring? And how is other comments going to go about with all of these things that you talk about?
Maybe when you talk about corruption, you can fight, you can mitigate corruption, you cannot end corruption. Even in this great United States, they got people that are corrupt, but they got it to a certain level. They got certain things, certain structure that they put in place. Whether it's about procurement laws, whether it's about tax law, whether it's about regulation, strengthening White House agency, revamping the judiciary system, all these things can help to mitigate corruption. So when he says system, when you work in a structured environment, maybe that's why Mr. Cummings said, when you listen to the interview, he said, I spent all my life trying to understand how the economy works. This is why I know. This is why I do. I speak the language of the private sector. When you work in a structured environment, when you work in corporate, they got cultures, they got rules, they got the way you do business. So literally what he's saying, you cannot count on an individual to come and change the system. Oh, we're depending on Africa. We're depending on strong men. No. The president will come and go. The worst case scenario could happen. You could even elect the good president today. Maybe natural disaster or some kind of emergency, you could end up losing that president. But when you have a system in place, it doesn't matter who you bring. The system will outlive the human being. It will be there for decades or for generations. And how do you do that? By kind of making adjustment to whether it's your constitution, we talk about constitutional law reform, whether it's about your business law, whether it's about the hiring process, whether it's about the way you practice your politics. These are things that you can change that will help mitigate the issue of corruption. We talk about it recently about the LDA. If you cannot pay field agent living wages, how can they give you better service by mitigating the flow of drugs in the country? So that one way you can get rid of corruption. Maybe if we're giving our law enforcement officer at least $350 a month, do you think they'll be hanging on every taxi cab begging and harassing those motorists? I don't think it will happen. I'm not saying it will never happen, but it will be on a lower scale. That's how you fight corruption. You can do it institutionally. You can do it by law. You can do it according to the way how you do business. That's how you mitigate corruption. That's why he talk about system. It cannot be about individual. No, it's about the system. But if you cannot change the system, then you will keep getting the same old result. I guess that's what he meant.
Wonderful. If you can change the system, and that's $1 million question, maybe we'll come back after the news. Or more will give us maybe just some tips as to how we're going to go about in changing this system that got us to where we are today. for almost 40 years now, since 1989, since 1989.
1979, the rest by 1979.
Okay, so 1979. Thank you, Mom. Up to now, we've gone nearly 40 plus years, and we stay into the is it the wilderness?
Yeah, the wilderness 45 years.
Well, it is indeed interesting. So let's go for the news break. When we come back, trust me, we will continue with the show up to 8 o'clock on tonight. Thank you.
I've said my peace of mind. My name is Wodi. I'm the voice of the voiceless. I'm a humble servant, and I am that guy. And his role. I've never seen any group of Liberian people, who can lie like tomorrow not there. The Liberians. The Liberian man will take one stigma and put it on you. Run with it. Make the world believe that this is who you are. When he knows very well he's lying on you, but it will make it sound like it is true. I saw one video this morning that just brings me back to why I'm so technical. When you bring your problem to me, y'all know, just so you that can bring problems to me, y'all know the question I can ask you. And if your case didn't make sense, I don't get involved with it, because most of you can lie. You can lie the bitterness out of Jurubo. Lie. Just use somebody near, just attach somebody to one, and you know that lie. But you say, oh, that politics. I saw the video this morning, I really felt bad. Let's watch the video. Yes, the video.
She feel blasted me, and now she can ask me, that you don't open nation? I said, look at the one. That you don't want to say the men are gay? Oh, right now, in the poor restaurant, the girl want me for me. I was so she in the crowd looking around the place, so crowded, foreign guests all over the place.
From Duburo, RCR News Bulletin at 7. My name is Emmanuel Since reporting for State Headlines. Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency confiscates coach value at over $1 million Liberian dollars during a targeted operation in the township of West Point. Liberia Standards Authority reaches a new milestone, joining two major international standardization bodies, which allows Liberia to access international standards, capacity building, and broader stakeholder participation in global standardization processes. A devastating fire destroys a 7-bedroom house in the Siki community, Duburo District 4, leaving more than 10 people homeless. Away from Liberia, Anna Mary Popo, the mother of Mason, former Tanzanian diplomat Humphrey Popo, has made an emotional appeal for police to help bring him home. Those are the headlines, not the news in details. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, through its Special Drug Squad, has confiscated coach value at over $1 million Liberian dollars during a targeted operation in the township of West Point, followed a credible intelligence tip-up. Preliminary investigations revealed that the illicit substance was concealed in 9 small mineral water bottles. Authorities believed the drugs belonged to a 7-year-old suspect identified as Lucy Morris. Madam Morris is currently under investigation and will be forwarded to court for prosecution under the amended Controlled Drugs and Substances Act of 2023. The Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency reaffirmed its commitment to dismantling drug trafficking networks and curbing the distribution of illegal substances across Liberia. The agency stated that operations are being intensified nationwide to ensure that those engaged in the illegal drug trade face justice. The Liberia Standards Authority has reached a new milestone, joining two major international standardization bodies as the country continues to strengthen its quality infrastructure. According to Lisa Public Relations and Communication Officer Christopher Weir, the new international organization for standardization, the ISO membership, allows Liberia access to international standards, capacity building, and broader stakeholder participation in global standardization processes. In continuing that, Liberia Standards Authorities, LISA, is now an active correspondent member of the International Organization for Standardization, the ISO. We are continuing that the membership was sponsored through the CAPSTRAD project implemented by CIRAC and funded by the European Union. The ISO annual meeting has brought together global leaders and experts from more than 170 countries to discuss how international standards can promote sustainable development. He also told reporters that LISA's Director General Stephen Mambo left Liberia over the weekend to attend the ISO General Assembly taking place in Kigali, Rwanda, from October 6th to the 9th, adding that the event is being hosted on the African continent, which was first hosted 2019 in South Africa. Christopher Weir at the same time revealed that LISA has also secured membership in the African Electoral Technical Standardization Commission through the same Castrat project. A devastating fire has destroyed a 7-bedroom house in the Sikit community in Dupuro, District 4, leaving more than 10 people homeless. Ruth Mellish, a mother and caregiver, told RCR News in an interview on Tuesday that her family was unable to rescue any belongings due to the late alert they received about the fire. She explained that by the time they were informed, the blaze had already engulfed the house. The incident has prompted Madam Mellish to make an urgent appeal for assistance from the government of Liberia, humanitarians, and local authorities, including Representative Marco Thomas, to help her family recover. She also called for a speedy investigation to determine the root cause of the fire. For his part, Frank Mellish, Madam Mellish's son, expressed a deep sadness over the loss of their home and belongings. With World Sight Day fast approaching, the Ministry of Health has received a shipment of 7,000 pairs of reading glasses from the One Sight Exotica Foundation Fund to expand access to visual care across the country. According to Alison Baker, the country director of One Sight Exotica Foundation, emphasized that the donation is meant to help improve the quality of life for thousands of Liberians by addressing unmet vision needs. Receiving the consignment on behalf of the ministry, Dr. Kulia Howie, Assistant Minister for Preventive Services, praised the foundation's sustained partnership and commitment to improving eye health in Liberia. She said the contribution comes at a moment as the ministry steps up for efforts to promote preventive eye care and raise awareness about avoidable vision impairment ahead of World Sight Day. The Assistant Minister for Preventive Services at the Ministry of Health revealed that the donation will be distributed through various community health programs targeting individuals with limited access to eye care services. The Solidarity and Trust for a New Day stand in collaboration with the We the People movement and other partner institutions has formally notified the government of Liberia of a nationwide peaceful protest scheduled for December 17, 2025. The protest action theme Lead or Leave Enough is Enough aims to bring attention to the country's pressing issues. A release from the group noted that the coalition has outlined several key demands, highlighting the respect for the rule of law, action against corruption, economic stabilization, and fight against drug exploitation, among others. Stand expressed that the decision to protest follows government's alleged inaction and silence after the July 17, 2025 protest, where thousands of Liberians peacefully petitioned for justice, accountability, and reform. The Solidarity and Trust for a New Day emphasized that the government's response, or lack thereof, has expanded public depression and amplified the split between the governed and those who govern. Meanwhile, the release stated that the protests will take place simultaneously across all counties, with the main assembly set for the public grounds between the Executive Mansion and the Capitol building. The National Association of Health Workers in Liberia now has expressed solidarity with staff at ELWA Hospital following a peaceful action on October 6 of this year over long-standing grievances affecting their welfare and the quality of health care. Now, in a statement, praised the staff professionalism, and peaceful conduct while highlighting concerns raised in their petition, including the closure of the family medicine program, female ward and gene clinics, which have reduced manpower and patient care. The union, through its Secretary General Damien T. Dazur, also noted the dismissal of 11 Liberian employees in May 2025, the risks of turning ELWA into a children's clinic, low and non-competitive salaries, unsafe staff transportation, and alleged misuse of donor funds meant for an ambulance. The union condemned these administrative decisions, urging ELWA management and SIM Liberia to engage in dialogue under the supervision of relevant labor and health authorities. Bon County District 3 Representative Marvin Cole has reaffirmed his commitment to community development and unity, outlining key projects and future plans aimed at improving the lives of citizens in his district. Speaking to a group of residents over the weekend, Representative Cole highlighted his past contributions toward women empowerment and infrastructure, emphasizing that true leadership should be measured by tangible results and service to the people. Representative Cole, who currently serves as vice chair for operations of the Citizens Movement for Change, disclosed that several new development initiatives are expected to be undertaken by the party the coming month. In further called for unity among members of the opposition community, noting that collective effort and continuous prayer are essential to achieving national transformation and effective leadership. The Bon County lawmakers' remarks were warmly received by citizens, many of whom commended his consistent involvement in community development and his advocacy for inclusive progress across the county. Pastor Jenkins Johnson of the More Changer Ministry Church in GSA Rock Hill community has been dragged to the Morocco City Court for allegedly kidnapping and impregnating Musukwe, a member of the church. Pastor Johnson's arrest, according to RCR judicial correspondent, was as a result of a complaint filed to the court by Marco Kwe, husband of pregnant Musukwe, who claimed that his wife fell ill a year ago following their marriage but recommended her pastor Kuhiro. He explained that his wife left their Brookville residence with his 14 years old child and moved to the church under the pretext of rebuilding her health, but without his consent after he refused or accused her of being in relationship with her pastor. Johnson's account to the court led to Magistrate Ben Baku's arrest order for Pastor Jenkins Johnson and was charged for kidnapping and criminal conspiracy. Now, out of Liberia, Anna Mary Popo, the mother of Mason, former Tanzania diplomat Humphrey Popo, has made an emotional appeal for police to help bring him home. The outspoken government critic was adopted from his home in Dar es Salaam in the early hours of Monday, according to his family. Local police confirmed on Tuesday that they were investigating the incident. The diplomat's brother said he had found the door to the house broken and a large amount of blood spilled. The day before, the city's police chief appeared to question whether the reported attack had really happened, telling the BBC that the former ambassador to Cuba often claimed to be out of the country. Humphrey Popo's mother says her son's kidnapping this month and his sister's reported adoption in July have caused her untold sorrow as she fears for the state of Tanzania. To end this news, a recap of our headlines. Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the LDA, confiscates coach value at over $1 million Liberian dollars during a targeted operation in the township of West Point. Liberia Standards Authority reaches a new milestone, joining two major international standardization bodies, which allows Liberia to access international standards capacity building, and broader stakeholder participation in global standardization processes. A devastating fire destroys a seven-bedroom house in the Sikh community, Dubu Road, District 4, leaving more than 10 people homeless. Out of Liberia, Anna Mary Popo, the mother of Mason, former Tanzania diplomat Humphrey Popo, has made an emotional appeal for police to help bring him home. RCR News Bulletin up to the minute. Emmanuel Sensei Gravelin.
What's the gain? You left Liberia in this mess. You left Liberia. You didn't even think about the country, but you thought about a particular individual agenda you wanted to pull. What you gain from that? What's the gain? What's the gain? I was sitting down today, I saw another video that he did with the Spoon TV crew. He, Mr. Cummings. Let's watch the video.
This nonsense, and excuse my choice of words to you and your audience, this bullshit about me being gay, complete bullshit, complete nonsense. I will not let anybody define me in that way when it's not true. It makes no sense.
Let me interrupt you. Facebook restriction, Mr. Cummings.
And when, let me finish, please. And when, you know, many Liberians, unfortunately, were gullible in believing that stuff. So those are examples of what I will do differently going forward. What will be the same is the economic message is going to be the same. Liberians are poor. Liberians are suffering. Certainly, most Liberians, I don't have any statistics to prove it, but I'm sure I'm right. Most Liberians do not go to bed with a full stomach. That is a problem in a country that got gold, that got diamond, that got iron ore. Apparently we got lithium, apparently we got bauxite. That is not acceptable, right? And so how we create jobs.
Good. Yeah, so Mark, we're back after the news break. As usual, at 7 o'clock, we'll go for news bulletin. We'll be back after that. I don't know if you are following. If so, I don't know anything that you maybe that caught your attention from the news bulletin. If not, then let's proceed with our discussion here this evening. Mark? All right. So is the Mark still having his live as you may call. So folks, if you just joining, yes, let me say good evening to all of you who just joining, maybe for the first time or you've been with us for ever so long. Good evening to all of you. Yumuchu Asadu Mensa. Good evening to you, one of our strong and energetic supporter and Wednesdays. Come back to it. Thank you for always being here with us. Jackie, say thank you so much for always being here with us. So again, people. Yes, indeed, before more come on, let me say this, the Ministry of Information, that's why today we are where we are today, where we see citizens, people fighting police officers, all these things happening today is just because of lack of information, lack of communication, and all of these things happen. Even into all of the government entities, this thing happen. No one care about informing the public. All our government official one is to just do things that they think they want to do. When it's good, then they come to the public to inform the public that, oh yes, the government is proceeding in this form. No, but at all time, the government should be able to inform our people what are good or bad. But we have the Ministry of Information that's supposed to be there to inform us people as to what's going on. The kind of progress that have been made, some of the challenges, where we're heading to, where we're going as country. No.
I'm back,
yes, I know more quickly. So the only thing that we get from the people is jobs, just throwing off jobs all of the time. Are we staying in the campaign mood? Are we still campaigning, or something is going on, or is the kind of politics that we all know? Or maybe that's anyway. But Monk, I was asking you as to whether you are following the news bulletin. If so, what you capture from there. If not, then that continues.
No, usually this time my schedule team and picking can be walking through the door like 2 o'clock. So I don't follow the news bulletin. I just take a little quick break and then readjust and come back after that. Sometimes after the shooting, I can go over it just to get an update, but not every day.
Okay, that's good. So the same thing I was saying about the clergymen stay in the news and in the news. So I think, but we already discussed that. Maybe on Thursday when Steve comes, then we'll have our own side of the story again when it comes to what happened and so forth. He's in the news. But yeah, Abraham Connor, good evening, my dear friend and brother. But more go ahead, my brother. I was asking you about the system, then we'll come back to how can we now better the system, because all of the things that Mr. Cummings said is right. It's 100% for me. That's one thing that really touched me is he talked about the system. The system is corrupt. But Mark, the one main question is, how can we graduate from a terrible system?
It starts with the leadership and the leader having a vision to implement. Nobody can put in place system except those at the top. That's why when you go in any professional work environment, any structural environment, that's why I say they got corporate laws, they got rules, they got regulation, they got a particular corporate culture, things that they do. Whether Melbourne is here today or Sekou is off tomorrow, the routine becomes the routine. You're not going to change it. When they want to change it, they will change it across the board so it affects everyone. Then that way they are making an update or they are trying to revamp the system. Mr. Cummings gave a lot of instances, like one of the examples he talked about they giving public official cars. He talked about from 85,000, maybe you can call it down to 40,000. The average car now, most of the cars that are being manufactured these days, they take up to 10 years, right? If with maintenance or more than 10 years. Why we should be changing car every 3 years? Maybe it's too frequent. Why not carry to 5? Why not carry to 7 years? Then he talked about how the government can incentivize the lawmakers and then they can get their own vehicle. Maybe they will manage it better rather than us just buying a new car every 3 years. It does not make sense. It's a waste. That's why he even talked about you could kill two birds with one stone. Even in the car, there are certain model of car that you will bring to the country. It should be imported by Liberians. Even though we got Lebanese that into the car business, but you can't give them all the contracts and things. So for public officials, you could do it. You could find a way that some Liberians can also be the importers of this car because it creates jobs. They will spend the money back home. The money stays in the economy. They got to get so many ideas. Even when it comes to flying private jet, there are towns that you fly private jet. Look at your destination. Look at the route. How is a frequent flyer mile, or whether you can looking at the transit time, the time you stay at the airport and all this stuff. When you think it's too long, where it interferes with the president's or daily duties or his execution, or he going to some international conference, then you take some private jet in some instances. When you get direct flight wherein the layover time is less, you can take commercial. These are ideas. Maybe you can put this into paper and become a part of a system. System just means rule. It just means being organized. It all about being very effective with people resources. And I one thing we don't understand. The people that goes into power believe that the money is their money. No, it's the countries, it's people resources. Another thing he talked about, if I'm not mistaken, or what he talked about again, he talked about so many issues like Mr. Comey, you say in your lot, it's just that if our people could really pay attention to evaluate candidates based on an idea, I don't think the election will be competitive. But in Liberia, unfortunately, it comes to your height, it comes to your tribal land, it comes to your political party, it comes to your whether you're oath killer, whether you're a former warlord. This is how it all about popularity. If you got celebrity status, whether you are well known, that's just what it comes down to. So you can say this idea and targeting all you want to, but at the end of the day, you must first win an election. If you cannot win an election, your idea means nothing, because the people who call the shot, they won't call you on the table when it comes to setting the national agenda. That's what sucks when it comes to presidential election. When you are the loser, my brother, that's it for you. No matter how smart you are.
So Mark, so let's go back. You're talking about the leaders. They have to start, or they have to, put everything in place. And yeah, good. But let's go back to the people, the cartel, and let's go back to sometimes most of our leaders. They're always thinking about re-elections, because the reason why I'm asking you this question, to find our leader, people were thinking that this president of ours is going to be maybe just one turn thinking, that okay, let me better the life of the people, and just give way at least so that the whole entire struggle of our people, every time people have to struggle for this, struggle for that, so that everything can come to an end. But from all indication now, people are sensing, or people are also saying that this president elected wrong. And because of that, there are certain things that he's supposed to do now. This thing are not happening anymore. But do you think that that leader will come and say, okay, maybe let me just run for one term and better all of the system and go?
Well, I don't know. That's Liberian politics for you. The one thing I know in politics, they can say the people with idea they are not giving power, and the people that are in power they have no ideas. And one thing Mr. Cummings said when you listen to that whole interview, he said you can blame the previous administration all you want. At a certain point in time, you got to own up to governing the country, and they get something they call milestone, right? Maybe I always give this example. If you and myself was on Bourgeois Island and they put up right in front of the fence of St. Mary's and they say you and myself are competing, we are in a race, who will be the first to reach on Broad Street? And they say, get ready, set, and go. The moment we start running, I start running towards St. Paul Bridge and you start running towards the Old Bridge. Who you think will most likely reach to Broad Street faster? The person that running towards Central Moravia, right? Because you're on the red track. And that's something Mr. Cummings says is about milestone. I don't need to wait for 6 years before I know whether Braga will succeed. What I can see Braga doing in the first 2 years, I can predict because these are milestones. And one thing Mr. Cummings said, nobody's looking for overnight miracle. But people are looking at you walking in the right direction to get the result that you want. You cannot be going off track and claim that over this period of 6 years, you will get to the destination. That's a lie. That's why you get milestone. If I want to build a house, I'm a first purchase the land. That's a milestone. Then I go to the next step. I should look for an engineer or an architect to give me the house plan. The next thing I'm going to buy material. The next thing I'm going to get the masoners before you can build a house. You telling me someone have to come and remind you of your own rescue agenda and you want to tell me that I should wait by some miraculous means after 6 years you will be successful? No, it does not make any goddamn sense. The first 2 years, based on the initiative you are undertaking, based on the steps you are taking, I can make a prediction that you'll be a failure. I don't have to wait for 4 years because you are not even inching toward those milestones that you need to get the whole issue of becoming successful. So you're not going to perform miracle. You telling me someone will come and remind you about say no to drugs. You cannot even provide logistical support. You cannot even pay LDA agent better. And you telling me you can come to the diaspora and governors resources from overseas. Look, I'm not a fool. But unfortunately in Liberia, it's all about the popular perception. When the people, and what Mr. Cummings said, the bulk of our people are gullible. That was the key word he used. They are gullible. They don't look for the substance. They look for this small gossip, the news here and there, the personal attack. Because even when it came to the CPP, the whole fingering CPP framework, that cannot happen in any normal society. But you got too many gullible people in our country. That one of the major challenge. He talked about that, gullibility, because if you're going to send or document remotely, the word remote means you are using technology. You're not even in a physical location. You are far apart. So it means the whole document already itself is already not authentic because it's sent over Zoom. But people bought into it that he fingered the document. Even some of the one that went to school. That's why I say that one of the biggest problems in Liberia. The one that go to school cannot even think like people that went to school. They all bought into the idea that Mr. Cummings fingered.
So are they doing these things more? Are they doing these things because of maybe people will say for political reason, people have to get political job, people have to get because in a private sector you got to work for 10, 15, 20 years before you can even in close to 5,000 or even 10,000. But in government, less than 6 months time, you already turn to celebrity. So people don't want to waste all of their energies and time. So the best way to go is to join some of the political parties, throw jobs, insult people, accuse people, lie on people, you know, and just be
by the end of the day, then they can remember you, so you can come and get your piece of shit. And that's just why it's all about. That's just why it is. People will do anything and everything because they feel that the easiest way to instant wealth is through the government of Liberia. You can just go there and steal. You can see anywhere from your LBS to whatsoever. People that will create chaos because they want job. They believe. Let me tell you something. I don't know about the other candidate, but I know Mr. Cummings is already, he will always be a target because the cartel afraid of people. The political cartel are always afraid of people who they perceive to bring about sources or result. Because let me tell you something, the reason being is an institution. They are politicians. They will prefer the country doing worse when they can benefit individually, right? If whether it's Simon Freeman, whether it's a Tewan Gonglo, whether it's a Clarence Moruba, whether it's a Cummings, if they are perceived as people who can bring result to Liberia, trust me, they will sabotage their effort. You know why? Because the moment you get someone better to turn that country around, it means the people won't look forward to your regular traditional politician. That's why whenever people outside the system come into power, they will do everything to sabotage your administration, whether it's about injunction, whether it's about accusing you. They want to destroy you so that you cannot reach to that particular level and to assume power, because they know if these men get to power, they will bring about some kind of a change or result. And that's why they don't want. The difference is the voters cannot recognize that. You think I'm going to walk into a ballot box in Liberia right now and they get your ability a Koga on the ballot, I'm going to go vote for Koga. Even if we put 10,000 Basan cloth on my arm, I will not miss that ballot box. But guess what? People will deliberately sabotage Bellete's effort to get a Koga, because Koga will keep the system running like that forever. Maybe Bellete might be someone who can bring about some kind of a change. When people are afraid of change, maybe change is very psychological. That's why when you stay alone in the system, you yourself don't want it for you to change. You want to keep going that way. So anyone who will come and be seen as an agent of change that want to come and totally turn the system around, trust me, you are in it for a long run. Just get ready for the fight.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, my dear. Mr. Karen, before we go to the line to interact with our people, changing of the system is, you see the government keep complaining that people, are saying things about them. But Mr. Karen, to you quickly before you come up, I don't think that the government should be accusing people of saying this about them, saying that about them, because let their work speak for them. But instead of their works, or maybe the what they do speak for them, they are there to jabs, insult, accuse, and so forth. What say you, Mr. Kane?
Yeah, so this is very simple. The reason why they are doing that is because they have nothing to show. So when you have nothing to show, you have nothing to present, you have nothing to actually post off, then all you can do is distraction, bullying, and attacking your opponents, and also making sure you stop every potential, powerful people that will actually attempt to shine light on your behaviors, your lack of leadership, your lack of idea, your lack of governance policies. So you will always try to target those people, to silence them, to bully them, so that your lack of leadership will not be highlighted every day. So once you distract people, you go against people, like Mon rightly said, if you are used to being corrupt, anywhere you see a message of change or anything that will resemble opening the eyes of the people, you go against it. Because changing the status quo is not in your favor. They want the country to remain like this. So anybody that will come with a message of change, they will definitely go against you. So that is the problem. It's not that they have something to prove, but they forget about. They have nothing to prove to the Liberian people, and at the same time, those who with a plan, the rightful plan to change the life of the people, they don't want to give the people a chance, because that will open the eyes of the people. And when that happens, what's gonna happen is that they will be losing, grasp of the people. Right now, they are leveraging the people, taking advantage of, the gullibility of our people, and thinking that the people, they will never, understand, they will never be smart. Imagine they're born in a country where your victims being your defenders, people that they are victimizing, they are destroying their life, the future of their life, and the future of their children. But yeah, those are the same people, defending them. So they don't want the people to actually be delivered from that, yoke of, traumatized, and and people, they don't want even people to know that they are being, abused. They don't want them to know that. Whoever attempt to enlighten the people of their right, to shine light on the fault of the government, on the lawlessness and abuse of power and corruption they are involved in, definitely they will target you. They will make you look like a buku man, and they will incite their own victims to go against you. That's what's going on, Mabel. Another they really, you know, you know, want to actually uh,
They
target
want
people.
to
The reason why
defend
they,
what they are
yeah,
doing.
the reason why they're doing it because they don't want the people eyes to be open. And gradually, people eyes are opening and people are learning. And I can guarantee you, down the line, not everybody, but vast majority of the Liberian people will see reason. They will understand that these people they don't mean well for them. That their job is to corrupt and make sure they continue to they continue to exploit our people and the resources of the country. So
Let's go
that's what the
back to the
fighting is
building of
all
the
about.
system quickly, Mr. Connor. Yeah, to the building of the system. What's your own thinking when it comes to the building of the system? Do you think that this system of ours will be rebuilt or we should just live in a form and manner? Do you think that maybe in building of this system we need a leader who will not think about second term? Because most of our leaders who are failing us today, they're always thinking about second term.
So building of a system. First, the first aspect and the first project, the first sound of changing the system, building of a system, is to make sure that Liberian people in general should make up their mind and decide that the fact that they have governed the opportunity to CDC and they have shown the Liberian people what they have to offer. They gave the opportunity to Joseph Mabuakai in the Unity Party for 14 years now. And they have shown to the Liberian people what they have to offer, and nothing seems to be going right. The country is on the downward trend, so we should now try something else, something different. Like Mr. Comey said in his statement the other day, he said, "You don't know who that person going to be, but Liberian people should look somewhere else, should look at different way of voting. They should vote on substance, they should vote on policies, they should vote on development, they should vote for the future of their children. Let them forget about this whole idea of I'm a born CDC, I'm a born Unity Party, I'm a born this, I'm a born that. Let them look at people with the right policy, with the right idea, with track record. But the first way of changing Liberia Melbourne system can change by itself, that people can change the system. And in order to change that system, you have to get rid of people then that are trying to maintain the status quo. Those who believe that changing the system will not be in their interest, even though it will be in the interest of the people. Get rid of those people first. Make sure you count the CDC and the United Party out. Vote a different person with different policy, with different idea. Let's see how that will work because we have tried the other one for the past 3 decades. Nothing seems to be working. So try something else that looked like something better than the status quo. Let's see what happens. That's how you start changing neighborhood. But you gotta change their mindset first. Get rid of the idea that I'm born this, I'm born that. Be worried about the future of yourself, your country, and the children. So that way you know what you say, you know what, let's start looking at something else. Let's try a different thing that is not CDC or Unity Party. That there where things will begin.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cannon. Let's go to the line to interact with our caller.
Before you go to the line, before you
Yeah.
go to the line, I just want to make some point in 1 minute. When we know our
Yeah, go
country,
on.
we watch soccer. Soccer is a global sport, right? When you're watching a soccer game, when a coach pour you the game, the length of the game is 90 minutes. The coach pour you on the field, on the team, right, for a particular reason or objective. When a coach substitute you, have you seen ever in soccer game where the man where they took from the bench taking back and putting the feet?
No.
Okay. go to the line.
07702031125.
That was a
That's
good
the
one, Mom.
number for you to call and be part of the show here. More, more kids. 077. No one over your receiving phone. 07702031125. That's the number for you to call this evening. Be part of the Sktv show. Hello to this caller. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Let me say good evening to the family.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Yeah, and I join you from my student university. Hey, it is important to know that this politics that we politics, cannot check out things, cannot must be. So you come to discuss politics and you are then complimenting your opponent. Like what I saw Mr. Cummings doing, you are complimenting Joseph Walker. Okay? Even though he asked the question, what has changed? And because he asked no question, Daniel Sado and the Olivia Pierre came down hard on him today. So, but what I want to say here is this. You know, every time I listen to Mr. Khan, you say he tried CDC, he tried United Party. CDC has not been tried for 12 years, only 6 years. And what we did in this country, we took public, so most of the government ministry agencies from out of private owned houses or buildings and build our own complex. So those things are there. So if you want to know whether 2029 CDC or Unity Party or the CNC or whatever party will emerge, you have the platform. Take out your time one day and have a kind of opinion poll on your platform.
All right. Keep your calls coming 0770203125. That's the number for you to call, please. Let's go straight to this caller. Hello, good evening. Charles Cooper.
Yeah, good evening, Mabon. Yeah, this is Charles Cooper. I'm an executive member of the Alternative National Congress. I call from Tuporo to be specific coffee, and I must commend you and the other panelists for always bringing out these sensitive issues. You know, maybe I want to stress on the question you asked. How can we change this system? And maybe one of the best ways that any leader can change this system is to lead by example. You know, Albert Schweitzer said, example is leadership. Maybe humans are the one running the system. The system do not make human. It is human that make a system. So if you have a leader who leads by example, that's the best way you can change the system. If you have a leader who is not corrupt, he leads by example. So I think one of the best ways we can change the system is by leading by example, and that's why we lack in Liberia. Leadership by example, maybe positive example is seriously lacking in Liberia. And then another thing Kumi said, maybe you see, the only reason that the traditional politicians are fighting Kumi is because they see it as a threat to the corrupt system. We need someone that will break that curse, that corrupt curse that is upon this nation. This is why something I tell you, leadership, why our country is cursed, and I speak from a context. Maybe if you see the way our country is being run, you know that something is seriously wrong with leadership in this country.
All right, Charles, thank you so much. Please, to this, keep your calls coming. So 0770203125. That's the number for you to call this evening to be part of the SKTV show. Let's go to this caller. Good evening. We okay. Thank God for life. Go ahead, my dear brother.
Just what the brother was saying, this system can only be changed by making up our mind, and that can be done by the leader. This is thing that we expect the woman worker to do, whatever for him. But just what Mom was saying, when the child that will do well, when they're born, you will know. The crops that you plant, when we germinate, you will know. So, even the 2 years that we are going to, we already know that he is not even taking the step to change his country for better, my brother. So this coming election, 2029, we pray to live and see that day, but it will be a serious challenge. That will not be between CDC and, it will not be for CDC and Unity Party, my brother. The people, we lose confidence in them. Boga is not prepared to do anything good for the country. And he was prepared, as we're looking at him to be, we are going to see changes by now. This government honor the health ministry to order. America is now free. They came broad on the radio saying they will be paying money to all the hospitals. Oh, these are the things I have seen to do for us. Thank you. We'll be talking about it.
Thank you. To this caller, good evening.
A pleasant good evening to the team of panelists.
Who's in Kew?
Yeah, thank you, Mabon. Thank you for the recognition. I call from Jacobstown. So let me appreciate you guys for the different talking. So in relation to response or the responses from the minister and the Deputy Minister of Information. Let me say this. We are under the obligation to protect and respect our leaders, what opposition or ruling position, whatever, political background, before we are under the obligation to respect them. Mr. Covid said in his word, and I quote, the government, since they took over, going to 2 years, they have done absolutely nothing to impress the people. So then it brings my mind back that in the Maryland that Mr. Covid is from, he normally use the headquarters of Oakland. Today, under this administration, Mr. Covid can use his pickup. He can use even if they can't go to Oakland. If that is not an appreciation, right, then who should be appreciated? A political leader of a major political party agency, and a political leader, you should have even a 2% of appreciation of the strength this government is. But he didn't mention any of those. So the ministry are under that obligation to inform public that Mr. Kumi is not saying the truth, right? But you cannot be a political leader of a major political party of thought and would not even acknowledge the workings of the progress this government made. The government has to respond in that light. I am no way suggesting to end, maybe to end this. I am no way suggesting any of the Ministry of Information to insult any opposition political leader. I will condemn it today, tomorrow, any other time. But they should also honor the obligation to respect them as leader of our country. Even you sitting on the platform to respect the leaders that serving in different capacities. I think we owe it to our leaders of our country.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hussein. Yeah, thank you. To this caller, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mabel and your co-host in the diaspora.
Go ahead, my brother.
And Peter W. Council from my honor still like in Lower Johnson. Thank you guys for the fascinating discussion this evening. Mabel, I think, and the former information ministry have just validated our argument. If we are to accept their argument and a constant, or to hold their argument constant, where they are measuring the IQ of individuals based on their height. And when you look at Joseph Imam Bouaka and that of Kumi, you have to understand that Kumi is further than Joseph Imam Bouaka. Joseph Imam Bouaka is sharper. So they are basically telling us that the sharpness of Joseph Imam Bouaka is reflected in his sharp and active. And that's why the country is running in this particular form and manner. Because Joseph Imam Bouaka is very much sharp. So you have a very maximum and an active. You see, every center of the Liberation Party, according to Daniel Fellow, are falling apart as per his own theory. These guys will continue to defeat themselves because they are somewhat and ungrateful to the people who are educated and mentally depleted. So that's why we'll use their own argument to defeat them and destroy the unity party. So
all right, thank you. We have let me move to my brother Louis. Not a long time more. One day can be a long time.
Yeah, I've been doing some research and development.
Okay.
And I'm out of, but this is our show. And you guys have done a lot for the Liberian people. Every evening coming on, so even when we're driving and we're falling, we have to make our contribution. I'd like to say thanks to you, to Mr. Kane, and to Monk. I like to say something. I like to project. I like to give a forecast of 2029. Monk, take it or leave it. The 2029 election will be tense. The governing ruling party will be a formidable force as included in this election. What will happen is that the opposition, look, that thing that Musa Belete is doing, the thing that Elizana Com is doing, Joshua the likes, they will have to put a robust and formidable opposition coalition together. Listen to this. Sorry for taking your time. 2045, Mrs. Sktv won on just Union Party ticket. From 2025, all of the other election, 2017, 2011, up to 2023, there has to be alignment and realignment. CDC came with the MPP and the LPDP. Even 2011, Mrs. Sktv had to bring the loop lap.
I think 2025, 2005 that you talk about, I think Prince Johnson have a job on Sktv. I think they run up, right?
It is very tense now. If the opposition cannot Amakamik. If they cannot send an arrow here and pour, even the Unity Party will try to hustle around, whether MPP or MDRE, don't mind the people. The people will
so do you really believe, Louis, do you really believe, I come in, Louis, I come in, yeah. I come in, yes. So do you believe that the Unity Party or maybe the other alliance or the political parties are all that came together on September 17th, that crowd that we saw at the ATS, do you believe that Unity Party will be able to pull that same crowd? Because what
beautiful question, Melbourne. Beautiful question. It is left for the Unity Party to maintain, or I don't know whether she stay maintain or alliance, because she had ACOP, she had Apetor from his ambassador to Japan, she had Bungalow, she had she had a whole lot of collaborations there, MDR and the rest of them. The election will be about alignment and realignment.
Good, because the reason why I'm asking you this question, Louis, the reason why I'm asking this question because since the Unity Party took power, we haven't seen any kind of major activities from them. Nothing like even their own September 17th. Give me a pass. Nothing. There's nothing.
Beautiful question, Milton. But has our alignment, has our collaboration, have they backing off? One thing we need to find out whether they are pulled, because they will get disappointed and pull off. Are they stay there or they are pulled off?
All right.
As far as the record is concerned, I think MDRA stayed there from Nima, and I think Apetor and the Accord from Lucille also have stayed. And they stayed there, but the opposition have to man them.
So the MDR, even though that will come, Louis, in fact, we have to bring you on some of the time when they kind of political talk maybe come about. But the MDR right now, they even having their own major issues, and Nima County is, yeah.
That's what I said. Just that will be able to rally, align and realign, and bring a formidable force. That's how I stand to emerge.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Louis. I like your political analysis. Quickly to my water, good evening. They'll move straight to the WhatsApp, we take call and go home. Yeah, go ahead.
You make a party for staying power for 12 years. You saw what they did in the country. The other government they say will do everything for us. The government said yeah, we feel like we're good. We say the government not do nothing for us. You make a party for that. They say they'll do everything. Everything will be fine. They come out of power. Liberian people, they went like they're for our open in the country. They're not smoking. Therefore, not smoking like they're going through in the country. That ever part of the country, they will do the one, yeah, I will do the one, I will do the other one. That people are really better for the party than in the country yet now. Yeah, because that's so much people going through in the country. You know, no schools. And there's no play schools, all in the tested now, and the schools, they haven't tested for to have the other poor people doing the whole school. But they're not doing it. The very houses, all what the 3 houses don't have pay, and the way they join the 3 houses there, they very all around. We have this one children, they kind of run cases that in the country, they're not doing it. So nobody will have to know that breaking, nobody will have to afford it.
All right, thank you. Let me see our best to go to Brother Abraham quickly. Then I cross over to my team so that we can go home for the day. People, please let me take my only the one WhatsApp call. Then we'll go home for the day. People are back. Yeah, you're please better there. Let me take So quickly, Abraham, my brother, thank you for joining us. It's not easy, but good evening.
Good evening. How you doing, man?
Well, we okay. Thank God for life.
Thank you. Great job. Man. And let me say good evening, good afternoon to Mo, and then of course my dear brother Sickle. Fascinating topic. Real quick, man. You know, I heard a caller I think before this lady. I think he's calling Louis, right? I just want to get a record straight. From 2005, I think there was only one election a United Party ever won in first round, and that was 2011 election.
Yes, indeed.
2005, they were defeated in the first round. It was Joseph Kotu, of course, later on, Ben Johnson joined them with that propaganda that indeed they bring in Samuel Doe's son back and all that kind of thing, and they won in 2005. So let's get that straight. It was 2011, I think United Party won first round. So secondly, just take one election. CDC had defeated United Party in all of the first round elections in our country. The alignment part of it, what he stated, is right, but we got to get it straight here. United Party, being an incumbent, you got a lot of scars on you already, just being an incumbent. You got a lot to account for as compared to you are defending. So let's get it straight in that direction. But notwithstanding, his point that we're thinking, and obviously there'll be political alignment and realignments. It will have to happen because that's the kind of dynamics of our politics that we got over there. And and then lastly, the irresponsibility of this particular government, especially the spokesman or the spokesman of this government, happen to be the information ministry, is just appalling. For you to have a group of guys that people look at society, look at the politics side, to be in a constant habit of just insulting people. And I don't know what is selective amnesia. They got their president, Mr. Comey, installed them. And for you to come and then treat as a statement of Mr. Comey, rather than taking the statement into stride and say, so, you know what, this man says a logical thing. But to be so antagonistic, and you don't want to be a realist, to look at the prevailing situation of the country, it's sad. This is what we got for now.
All right.
Thanks for the time, man.
Thank you, my dear brother. Actually, all of these statistics that you're talking about, you are quite correct. So we are here, and we will see how this thing is going to play in the 2029 elections as to whether the CDC in, they become number one. When they're out, they become number one. And we will see as to how this thing is going to work. But Monk, that's the society for us as to maybe CMC will become number one. You don't know. So things will change, or the ANC or anybody. So, but Mark, what say you? We gotta go home. We listen to your people.
Yeah, listen, my people. I think AB and Louise, I think this ended the show. I mean, they made some salient points on the future of 2029. Up to the Liberian people at the end of the day, like I said, we have tested Unity Party and CDC. They have shown nothing. By the time Joseph Boaga 12 year comes to an end, it will have been 24 years between these two parties. 24 years is no small time, almost 30 years. It's only 6 years shy of 30 years, 3 decades. I don't know what you need to see to be convinced that these people will do anything better. It's up to the voters. And Louis says something profound. There will be alignment and realignment, but at the end of the day, the opposition need to put up a ticket that will convince the average Liberian that you guys are ready to win an election. A ticket that will be so strong, because when people get this idea that the candidate is not going to win, they will go back to the two traditional parties. You got to do something totally unconventional that the average man on the street say, you know what, maybe this time around, the opposition, they are looking at something better to post or to depose the current status quo between these two parties. But until then, they will vote the same way how they vote. We just saw it recently in Nema County. So I'm not too bullish. I'm not too optimistic about the future of Liberia, because I believe the people themselves who are the victims that can see on, like broad daylight, they are not ready to make that choice. Maybe 2029 might be something different, but I'm not so on it. If I'm going to place a bet, I won't place a bet on them until I can see the momentum, I can see that shift, I can see that realignment, I can see that enthusiasm from the Liberian people that they are ready for something different and transformative. Until then, we will go back to status quo ante.
Thank you, Mark. Let me be frank. Let me just add up to what in fact you just said quickly before we go home. You know, when they're into a ruling position, and those of you that are into opposition, like for example, yesterday United Party, they were opposition. How come someone after ruling for 12 years, then you call them opposition? They use you.
Yeah,
they get the power. Now, people come in when they say, look,
yeah, listen to you. The opposition, you were there.
That's why, for me, I keep saying that I don't want to be discussing politics.
I know.
Most of our people, yeah. How can you call someone opposition if the person
was power? Yeah,
okay.
Because you're not opposition. You are former ruling party. The people who have never tasted power before are the real opposition. You cannot be. You are ruling establishment.
And that was a mistake that most of the political party made today to even bring the party back to
opposition.
Power.
Yeah.
Because they see the party by then as opposition. Now they see CDC as opposition. But now we good night. We see you on tomorrow by the grace of the Almighty God and brother. We see all of you people.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We touch it for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Qualified people who waiting to sell. The blessing that time and the effort are rest. The project is giving us here and the promise from there. The work of my life without fear.
I lyrical health.
Master.
Clay Paris, who make on you, I can't Sktv benyo. Say my journey, Tina get I say my yamo. And yes, I know money, and more I know. And you love
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must survive all of our and grandmother.
And I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I didn't ya to money, and I said ya to money, and I couldn't play ya to money, and I could do ya to money, and I forget now ya to money. That's the baby, and I forget now. Cause you work on my ya to money. Yeah.
Sktv, the best in Liberia. Sktv, the best in Africa. Sktv, the best in Mama Liberia. Must survive all of our and grandmother.
There are things we can do. We bring in good news and we give it to you. We talking for podcast and connecting people and culture from here and up out of the globe. Qualified people who waiting to sell. The flesh, the time and the efforts are rest. The broadcast we giving a real and the promise my best. To work with my life without fear. From Grandpa's and Nima to Lufa, from Riverside to Raji to Chide, from Grand Crew, Bombay, Cape Mount, Montserrat to San to Bacalu, from Maryland, Bonkan to the Maggie B. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB. We the best in the land, yeah, LIB.
Sktv, the best in Liberia.